some specific statistics with you tonight because it is becoming increasingly apparent to me as I am out in the district that people not only recognize that we are on the wrong path in this country and that we have to bring change and substantial change. We cannot afford, in so many different ways we could use the word afford, to continue in the way that we have. And I want to go back to a question that I think is a very important question in this election. And that question is, are you better off now than you were 8 years ago? And I am willing to bet that very few of us would be able to give a resounding yes, or even a very weak yes. And I want, again, to share with you some of these statistics. And I'm looking at these notes because I want to be sure that I say them and you hear them with the impact that I think they warrant. The cost of living, as we all know, has spiraled out of control. Gas prices have almost tripled in the last almost 8 years. Food prices have gone up 75%, and health care premiums have almost doubled, from about $7,000 per family in 2000 to over $12,000 per family today. We all know about the wasteful spending on pork barrel projects such as the Bridge to Nowhere in Alaska, and those wasteful spending projects have doubled. And we all know that fiscal irresponsibility has turned record surpluses, which we did have, into record deficits and caused the value of the dollar to plummet. We have 5 million more illegal immigrants having entered the country, and we've also had 6 straight months of job losses and rising unemployment, which followed the weakest job expansion since the Great Depression. Under Bush, Cheney, and Graves, more than 3 million manufacturing jobs have been lost. Now, I could have gone on with similar statistics for several more pages, but I think you get the point. The question is, are we better off now than we were 8 years ago? As individuals, almost none of us would be able to say, yes, we're better off. And certainly, we could say that Northwest Missouri is not better off, and the country is not better off. In fact, the cost of the Iraq War, since it began until the end of this year, for one congressional district in this country, in our case, the 6th congressional district in the state of Missouri, the cost of the war to us, over $1 billion. Just think what even a part of $1 billion could have done or be doing to improve the lives of the people in Northwest Missouri. So that's what this race is all about. It is a critical time in the history of this country. As I said before, we do not have the luxury of continuing on the path we're on. The good news is that Americans know how to make change when it is necessary. We've demonstrated that time again in the past, in the history of this country, and as I may have said to some of you recently, Winston Churchill had a great comment about Americans. Now I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's something like this. He said, you know, Americans really know how to get on the right path. The only problem is it takes them forever. So we have now reached the point of, quote, forever. We have to make the change. We have to make the change in Northwest Missouri. We have to make the change in this country. So this election is up to you and it's up to me. And the partnerships we have already formed in this room say to me, we can win this race. You have been great. You have been so enthusiastic, beginning 13 months ago for many of you. And that's what it takes, because this race will be won with a strong grassroots effort on our part. I'm confident of that. We're very capable of doing it. We can do it together. You have said you want to be part of that. And so I ask you to continue that commitment so that we can win in November, have a great celebration, and recognize that historically we are part of a very positive change for our nation. Thank you.